Have you ever wondered why it hurts so much? Why? Even when everything seems to be going well, there's this constant weight in your chest. This feeling that something is just off. Maybe you've tried everything: meditation, advice from friends, or pretending to be fine, pushing through it. But the pain remains, silently following you like a shadow. I'm going to tell you something that may be hard to hear. Most of your suffering doesn't come from the world around you. It comes from within, from the parts of you that you've pushed aside, the parts of yourself that you've abandoned. Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in psychology, said what? You do not bring to consciousness returns as fate. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Life is trying to show you something, but you're not listening. You run away, you mask it with distractions, addictions, or empty relationships. You tell yourself it will pass, but it doesn't. Does it? Because the pain isn't asking to be ignored. It wants to be understood. This isn't just another self-help video. I'm not here to offer you empty promises or one-size-fits-all advice. I'm here to provoke you, to challenge you, to ask you to face what you've been hiding even from yourself. Just give me a few minutes and I'll show you why you suffer, and more importantly, how this can finally end, not with quick fixes, but with true awareness. You might feel like you're at the bottom of the well right now, maybe on the verge of a breakdown, smiling on the outside while screaming inside. Or perhaps you've learned to live with the pain, as though it's part of you. Whatever your situation, here's the hard truth: suffering continues only because you haven't yet had the courage to look at its root. Jung spent his life mapping this dark terrain of the human soul. He understood that only those willing to face their own darkness can find true light. So, if you're ready, I promise you this: by the end of this video, you won't be the same. What you discover here could transform how you see yourself, your pain, and your path to freedom. Let's begin. You believe you're suffering because of others: your boss, your partner, financial problems, social pressures, the expectations that the world places on you. And yes, these things do weigh heavily. But here's what you need to understand. True suffering, the kind that paralyzes you, that hurts even in silence, arises when you disconnect from who you really are. Jung said that the greatest tragedy of the soul is to live a life that is not yours. And that's exactly what's happening to you. From an early age, you were taught to fit in, to be accepted, to follow rules. Slowly but surely, you drifted away from yourself. You became a character, a puppet to please others. You silenced your desires, repressed your emotions, swallowed your anger, suffocated your sadness. And now, you carry a pain that you can't even name: a quiet, consuming pain. This is the suffering of disconnection, the pain of someone who looks in the mirror and no longer recognizes themselves. You've grown used to the role you've been assigned, but your soul feels it. It feels when it's living a lie, and it begins to scream through anxiety, insomnia, apathy, guilt. Emotional pain is the soul's alarm, signaling that you are betraying yourself. Don't mistake it. It's not failure that hurts. It's the false expectation you built of who you should be. It's not loneliness that wounds you. It's the emptiness of not knowing who you really are. When you're alone, it's not the absence of others that hurts. It's the absence of you. As long as this disconnect exists, suffering will continue. Because you're trying to heal an external wound when the root of the pain is within. But here's the key. This pain is a warning, not a sentence. Jung believed that suffering was the first step of transformation. Pain exists to push you back home to your true self. And this return begins when you stop running and start listening. Listening to what has been buried, to what has been silenced, to what you've long forgotten. In the next part, we'll talk about the most dangerous and most liberating force of the human psyche, the part you fear the most, but which holds the secret to your healing. That part Jung called the shadow. If you truly want to stop suffering, you need to know it. You need to face it. If this message resonates with you, click the subscribe button and join me on this journey. Thank you for your support. You keep fighting against symptoms, anxiety, guilt, anger, sadness, but you never address the cause. These feelings aren't flaws to be eliminated. The real enemy is not out there, it's within you, hidden, silent, and that's where the danger lies. Carl Jung called this hidden side the shadow, and everyone carries one, including you. The shadow is everything you've repressed, your forbidden desires, your denied emotions, your unexpressed anger, your fears. It's the part of you that you've rejected, but that is still there, living in the dark. The more you ignore it, the more it controls you. The shadow manipulates your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions, all without you realizing it. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So, do you think suffering is just bad luck, karma, injustice? Maybe it's your shadow, and it will keep controlling you until you face it. But here's the catch: facing the shadow takes courage. It means admitting things you don't want to admit. It means accepting that there's a monster inside you, but it's also you. The shadow is not your enemy. It's the part of you that's been exiled, and it simply wants to be seen, heard, integrated. Jung didn't believe in eradicating the shadow. He believed in embracing it, transforming it into strength, into awareness, into power. What you reject weakens you. What you integrate sets you free. Now that the shadow is before you, we'll talk about what to do with it. The path of courage begins here, the beginning of real healing. You've come this far, faced the truth of your disconnection, looked your shadow in the eyes. Now, it's time for the most decisive moment, the confrontation. It's not enough to simply understand your suffering. Understanding is the beginning, but healing requires action. Courageous action. Jung said the journey to the self is for the brave few, and this courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the movement through fear. Facing the unconscious is walking through a dark territory where you control nothing. But it's in this darkness that the soul is reborn. Pain is your greatest teacher, and when you learn to listen to it, when you stop running and start facing it, that's when the transformation begins. Pain is no longer your enemy, it becomes your guide. Jung said suffering must be experienced fully, and only then can it be overcome. Imagine the person who spent their whole life ignoring their truth to please others. They've ignored their pain until it becomes unbearable. That's where healing begins, by facing the truth of who they really are. It's time to stop living on autopilot. You'll begin to see who lifts you up and who drains you. You'll say no when you need to, and you'll say yes to yourself. And when you stop betraying yourself, you start to see the world with new eyes. This is the moment when true transformation happens. You didn't need to heal to be worthy of love. You just needed to accept yourself. This acceptance is where peace is found, not because the world is perfect, but because you are whole. And now, the most essential choice lies ahead: to take what you've learned and live differently with awareness, purpose, and responsibility. You've been reborn. And now, life demands more from you. This process of individuation is the journey of a lifetime. Today, you took your first step. You now understand that your pain was never a punishment, it was a call to return to yourself. So, what's the next step? It's up to you to choose.